Rocky is, of course, a graduate of the other university, Notre Dame or something like that. And he's married, has 2 children, Rocky? 2 children. He's been with the Steelers for about, before Moses. A long time. A Vietnam War hero. He wrote a book. They're producing a movie about Rocky Bleier. And he also works for an investment firm, Russell Ray, Bleier and Zappala. Is that it, Rocky? Got it in there? $20, thank you. And a very much a vital part of our team in a number of ways. Also our player rep. Yeah, it's a real popular position. Right?
Sam Davis there.
And this is Sam Davis.
So now you're going to talk about the poor people.
That, of course, is an obvious reference to your position as an offensive lineman, not to the company you work for, H.J. Hines. Sam has been with the Steelers for 13 years now, and along with Rocky, is he's one of the only 2 players on the team that was with the Steelers before Chuck Noll.
But Rocky's really older than I am.
How can you tell?
Well, he was in Vietnam for a while.
Well, he was in Vietnam. He aged quickly there.
Yeah, very.
And, of course, Sam Davis is one of our team captains. Next to Sam Davis is Randy Grossman. Randy Grossman is a tight end, graduated from Temple University. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Of course it's right.
Of course it's right. Of course it's right. He's married, lives here in Pittsburgh now as a young boy named Oliver. Had a great year for us last year. As tight end, had his best season, catching over 30 passes for us, numerous touchdowns, and is currently, like I said, making his home here in Pittsburgh, working for an insurance company during the off-season. So we're glad to have you here, teammates.
What's a nice Jewish boy doing in a rough game like that?
David, it pays the bills.
I never heard of such. It's like great Italian war heroes or immortal Irish cooks.
Few and far between, huh?
Well, anyway, I've seen it happen. What's the matter with you fellas this year? All the injuries and all of the mistakes, you know, the fumbles and the misplays. I mean, you're a great team. You're the world champs.
Gatorade.
No, and injuries. You've been injured. Lynn Swann, a hamstring pulled.
We've all been injured except for Randy.
I want you to know where I come from, New York. I'm a freak because they say, "Who's your team?" And I say the Pittsburgh Pirates. I did say. I really did bet on the Pittsburgh Pirates to win the series, but I say the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they said Pittsburgh. I mean, you're not the Giants, not the Jets, not Boston. I said no, Pittsburgh. So I have every emotional right to ask you, what's the matter this year? Why so many injuries? Why a loss to Philadelphia and Cincinnati?
Well, somebody told me, and I guess it's a great way to look at it, that Cincinnati was so down and feeling so bad after 6 losses that we made a whole city feel good.
That's nice.
You know, look, I mean, you know, we have nice guys on the team, and made a whole city feel good. Happy for one day.
Do you feel different this year than last year? I mean, is your optimism tempered? Are you a little bit more cautious and therefore prone to mistakes?
Well, I don't think so. You know, me personally, I feel a lot younger this year.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I just think it's a situation where right now we just have to get back to what we so-called basics. Start doing the things that we haven't been doing, and hopefully we can turn this thing back around. You know, the weird thing about this whole situation is that if we would have probably beat Cincinnati, none of this would have occurred. But because we didn't, all of a sudden everybody want to know what's wrong, what happened, how this happened, why you do this, what happened here. You know, everybody's panicking. We feel very proud about ourselves and about our team, and we feel that we can do whatever it takes to come back. We're not really concerned about that. We'll be there when it counts.
Right, Lynn?
I have to agree.
You wonder why you wiped the floor with Houston, a tough team. Probably do great Monday night against another tough team, Denver. And then Cincinnati and Philadelphia. What is there in pro football where the champs can fall victim to Cincinnati who hasn't won a game? Is it that you let down? You think, oh, well, this is an easy one?
No, I don't think that. I think that the 27 other teams in this league, you know, have talent and have capability and have the people that are able to win. Now, there might be some circumstances where they make a lot of mistakes. They don't have confidence in themselves. They might be missing some of the key ingredients, but all the people there on a given day can put it together and win. The Steelers have been very fortunate to be coming into this, you know, I mean, this year as world champions. We've experienced a lot. I mean, the people that are sitting here tonight, I mean, the five of us have gone through all the experiences of the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, of winning extremely with big scores and getting our rear ends kicked. I mean, so that we know what it, you know, as Sam was saying, that we know what it takes. After a loss like to Cincinnati, or even to Philadelphia, the team gets down, they get embarrassed, but it's, you know, we're still tied as far as our division is concerned. We're still on the top, and we have the rest of the season to go. And so it's not a panic situation. We know what needs to be done. All we have to do is go out and do it. But if we let down and don't play up to our capability, there's 45 other guys on another team that every time they play against the world champions are playing up to their capability.
Rocky, you and Sam, of course, have been on this team longer than anyone else that presently is playing for the Steelers. Now, I've been here for 6 years, as Randy and Franco for 8, and ever since we've been here, the Steelers have always been good. Okay, we've always had Three River Stadium. We've always had, you know, Latrobe and the nice practice facilities and everything done first class. Give us some insight and some comparisons on the Pittsburgh Steelers practicing over at South Park.
I remember, hey, Sam,
Those days.
I remember one Philadelphia game back in 1968. The game was at this time, neither one of us won a game. And it was
first round.
Right? And it was termed the OJ Bowl. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It was played at Pitt Stadium. Unfortunately, we won the game 6-3. It was the worst game I've ever seen in my life, sitting on the sidelines watching it. I mean, it was more turnovers, more fumbles, more just sloppy play than I've ever seen. I mean, Sam, remember that word was involved?
I'll have to agree, you know. Right. And along with that, too, I remember a very good year that I think after the first game, we played Detroit, and I think we beat them like about 20 points or something of that nature. It was a good margin, and I think the headlines the next day was like, wow, we're on our way to the Super Bowl. And we ended up losing the next 13 in a row.
It's hard to remember a time when Pittsburgh was in that kind of condition, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. I'm sure there's a majority of fans that are watching this program tonight. They can tell maybe a million more stories than Sam and I, and maybe there's a lot of people out here that remember those times. But I think for the younger people, you know, that have supported the Steelers, it's tough to look back, because ever since Chuck Knowles come here, it's been a steady increase in the caliber of players that we have, and not to mention the 3 Super Bowls. But there was some 40 years prior to that first win that things weren't going too well, you know, here in Pittsburgh, and a lot of people remember those games with Bobby Lane, and Buddy Parker.
Franco, do you ever imagine not being in the playoffs? Or what type of attitude that you or Randy might have if that situation should ever occur?
No, I don't, and it's real funny, but I remember when I was at the college all-star game, me and Lydell were roommates, and he was drafted by Baltimore, and I was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you know, like, we'd talk every night, and every night, you know, he'd say, well, you know, my salary's all right, but plus, you know, we go to the playoffs every year. And he started counting that money. And there was no way that I even thought about playoffs at that time, that we could make it to the playoffs. And there's no doubt about it. I felt bad and saying, wow, you know, Pittsburgh's never been in the playoffs. And so there's no way to have anything extra. But once I got here and saw what kind of team we had and the spirit of the guys, once we started winning, we just kept rolling. And
listen, that fantastic catch a year or two ago that tipped off, yeah, a couple of years ago. 72. I remember I had a bet on
Was that the last pass he caught?
No, was that 72?
Make the reception off, he
Yeah,
picked it up, and
yeah.
it was 72.
No.
Yes.
7 years?
72.
My bookie and I swear it was yesterday.
Oh, you're still getting paid off for it.
Did you, was that miraculous, or, I mean, did you know what was happening? Were you just minding your own business in the ball?
I guess it was sort of a thing like that, but I kind of look at it as a reward for a lot of hard work. I do, because like before I came to the Steelers, I worked really hard all that off season, and you know, continued to work hard through the season, and it paid off for me. And I guess just the attitude that I had at that time, to never say die until the whistle blows,
and I think,
it just paid off.
I think to Franco's credit on that, and one of the things that Franco has done and continues to do, is that he never quits on the play. I mean, if he's running a pass pattern, or if he's blocking or something, and gets up and the ball's thrown downfield, that you'll find Franco down around the ball somewhere. And it really capitalized that season as far as Franco was concerned, and what he meant to the Steelers, because he was in the right place at the right time, and it was that type of effort on his part, and it was there. I mean,
I think God got out of bed that morning and said, remind me to do something special for Franco Harris. and he did. The injuries, you've had
At all. Denise Baker, NBC News, Pittsburgh.
And standing by right here with us this morning, Richard Schaap, who's come almost directly from the ballpark, couldn't even stop off at his valet before he got to work this morning.